Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 13 of BNHA 2nd Gen, and this one is titled Summoning the Courage. Bri, please, Condor begged. The energy is fine, I promise. I just need to talk to these students, then we can catch up, okay? Ugh, fine, Nuggy Poos. I'ma take your mans here for a little second, have a chat, then we'll be back, Brian said as he took Kana by the arm and did a little finger wiggly wave to Condor, then dragged the confused hero out the door. Please excuse him, Condor said with embarrassment. He only knows extra and doesn't have an inside voice. He's amazing, Ginny said in awe. Is he your blood uncle? No, he's married to my blood uncle, Condor replied. What is his quirk? Soshi asked curiously. Who, Bri? Condor asked. Soshi nodded. In his own words, he's best genus but gayer, Condor said with a small chuckle. He's a designer. Started a fashion label just after my mum and dad got married. He's been influencing ever since. He makes clothes? Ginny gushed excitedly. I'd love to see his designs. I'm sure it would be amazing. I'd feel so confident wearing whatever he made. He makes clothes for dogs, Condor said. His label's called Normani, after the first dog he ever owned. I grew up with Norman. He was an amazing pup. Aw, Ginny gushed quietly, loving this softer side of Condor that was coming out. Anyways, the winged hero said, clearing his throat to continue with the introductions. I wanted to thank you all for accepting my offer, and I'd like to give you the chance to ask any questions. But first, about what we'll be doing over this week. While Condor continued to talk with the students, Brian led Kana out into the hall and off down to an adjacent room to talk in private, his hips swinging wildly as he proudly catwalked down the hall. The flamboyant designer popped his head through the door of a spare office and then pulled Kana in, closing the door behind them both and pulling his phone out. Hey, he sent to Kana, pressing send and then holding the phone up to show Kana that he had sent him a message. The friendly hero caught on immediately and pulled his phone out to text Brian back. Hey Bri, he sent. So, have you asked him out yet? Brian texted, adding an array of sparkles and hearts on the end of the text. Yoko? Kana replied. Yes, Yoko, please tell me you've confessed to him. I am literally dying over here, Brian sent, a line of whining faces after his text. I'm scared, Kana sent back, his face full of sorrow. Oh, baby boy, where's that confident hero I know? Nuggy definitely likes you. He's just as shy as you are to admit it, so you'd better make the move and show him you're the top, Brian sent, popping his hip out and puckering his lips as he gave Kana a sassy up-down look. Okay, I'll do it this week, Kana replied, adding a crossed fingers emoji on the end for good luck. I'm so excited, Gah! Brian texted, another plethora of hearts, wedding bells, people getting married, stars, streamers, and all other celebratory items that he could find being added to the text. Bri, please breathe, Kana sent, smirking as he sent the message. No, honey, fanboy mode has been activated, Brian replied, flicking his hand up in the air after hitting send and winding around in a circle. Kana grinned and shook his head, signing to himself internally about how ridiculous Brian was. Okay, baby, you go play now, and I'll be hearing more from you later, okay? Mwah! Toodles! Brian texted, before flicking his leg up behind himself and shimmying away to the door before leaving in the most dramatic way possible. Kana smiled again and looked down at his phone. Closing the message app and looking at his home screen, there was a picture of him and Condor chilling on the roof of the agency building. Condor had his wings out behind both guys, and they were leaning in and pulling a face at the camera. I really want to make this a reality, Kana signed internally, seeing the signs gestured in his mind rather than hearing an inner voice, as he looked lovingly at the picture. Yoko is a good friend, and I love him. I want him to be my boyfriend. After initiating the students, Condor got them up to do a tour of the agency. I was hoping Seismic Kana would be here, but he seems to have disappeared, Condor remarked, opening the office door to the hall and stepping out. He looked up the hall and then down and saw Kana casually strolling towards the group. Condor's face lit up and his wings vibrated softly when he saw his friend. I was wondering where he'd gone, he queried through his feather to Kana as the latter approached the group. Dealing with Brian, Kana signed, using Brian's signed name as a crown with a hand flick. Where did he go? Condor asked. Home, Kanaka signed back. Condor nodded, and turned to the 3 students who were watching the interesting way of communicating that Condor and Seismic Kana had. "Okay, let's go," Condor said brightly to the students. "Seismic Kana will join us." Ginny nodded excitedly, falling in behind Condor and his giant white wings, having to scrunch her hands up to stop herself from reaching out and patting him. "I'm here. Oh my god, I'm here. This is real. Okay, let's breathe. No more making an idiot of myself. Walk normally. Don't pat the wings," Ginny monologued to herself. That Brian guy was really something. I liked his charisma. Time to learn from all these amazing heroes here, Soshi thought as he stepped up beside Ginny and smiled lightly at her as she beamed back at him. Not sure him. Rude ass, putting me down like that, especially in front of Ginny. I'm not stubborn. I don't need his help. Whatever. Ginny is here. I'm going to prove to her that I'm better than he is. Cheese scowled as he stalked along behind Ginny and Soshi, his eyes falling to Ginny's hips as she moved. And that is the end of that chapter. Just some fun facts. Profoundly deaf people that are born deaf, don't have an inner voice, but they do see signed gestures, hence why Kana sees sign in his mind when he's talking to himself. And how is Hiyoko able to talk to Kana? It's theorized that telepathy is processed in a different section of the brain than where speech is interpreted, and thus Kana is able to hear Hyoko's voice. So there you go, you've learnt, or possibly learnt, 2 new things today. I'll see you in the next chapter tomorrow.